Hello, it's Salann here with the Two Pondering Pagans. I am super excited. We are going to do a tarot read today. Quick tarot style, but we're going to do a little bit differently, so get ready. All right, so today's tarot, we're going to be doing the Forest of Enchantment. I don't know. I might put it on that corner. I might put it on the other corner, so it might be there. I don't know. One or the other. But anyway, we're doing the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. This is by Linnea Weatherstone, illustrated by Marilla Allwood. Not sure if I said those properly, but we'll put the box up so you can see it. I kind of went in after doing some mindfulness and meditation exercises and a couple of things, and went into our witch area for the Two Pondering Pagans, and just kind of felt out which deck would be right to use today. So I went with the Forest of Enchantment. So I'm going to shuffle a little bit while I talk, so I apologize for the sound because you might hear some of the cards flipping and stuff. If we get any jumpers, I will pull them out. But just a little bit about this tarot deck. It's got a gorgeous back. It is reversible. It's relatively thin cardstock, a little thinner than normal, but still probably on the realm of standard. It is I would say standard size card deck, but a little bit smaller than most tarot decks, which is nice because it's really easy to handle. If you can see it in my hand, it's very, the whole deck, it's very easy to handle and manage. Easy to shuffle. So it does feel really good in your hand. Follows the Rider-Waite-Smith system, so very easy to read. It's definitely a more nature deck, a more connected deck. This would probably be really good for anything really, but Wicca. It's got some pretty good connections with Earth here. And while I did my meditation this morning, I just had a really big feel and pull and push for nature base at the moment. For those of you that know, maybe we'll put some pictures up and stuff. I don't know if we'll do a short video and kind of collage some things from our silent supper. Now, we didn't video it. It just didn't feel right. But regardless, we do have quite a few pictures. We might throw some of them up for you. But anyway, that silent supper was extremely moving. It was very emotional and really had some connections. And since then, it's been 2 days now, we've really felt the push and the pull to connect with ancestors, but to do so through the land. And whether that is the land just outside of our house, whether that's the land, at a sacred area, we've just really felt this pull. So this week's weekly tarot, and I know I missed a week there, but this week's weekly tarot is going to focus more on, how to improve connections, what connections we need to work on individually as a collective spiritual group. So instead of just, what energy is around for the week, we're going to really focus on how do we connect over the rest of the year and starting into what is for us and many witches anyway, and pagans, the new year, starting now, how we're progressing through that thinning veil with our connections and our ancestors and learning from the mistakes and the positives and all of that stuff from our past. How do we pull that energy in, hold on to it, and develop it and grow it? And granted, we're still going to make mistakes. We're still going to have missteps. I mean, that's just part of the human condition. But we really want to see, what is it that we can do to get to the next level? And I'm not talking about getting to the next level above somebody else. I'm talking about you getting to your next level, whatever that next level is. Doesn't matter about anybody else. This is about you. So I'm hoping that you guys get something really good out of this read. I don't even know how many cards I'm going to pull. I'm just going to start pulling. I feel a very strong need to just talk about that. So if you're just learning tarot, then the query or the question that we're going to propose is, how do we as individuals continue to develop ourselves and to bring about positive change as a collective? So how do we take the small and move it forward for ourselves while at the same time really improving the condition of where we are, where the world is, and where things are going? So we'll see how it goes. Let's get started. So I didn't get any jumpers yet. I'm going to keep shuffling because inevitably we will get in a jumper, and that will be our start. And I just really was excited to do tarot the day we did Silent Supper, but the energy wasn't right to do it. It was all about ancestors and feelings. We didn't really need to do any divination to get what we needed to get out of it. It was really nice. Even if we don't, we don't have a video to post for it, but we can put something together. But regardless, we're going to throw some information together at some point about Silent Supper, how we did it, some of the things. Oh, we got our jumper. Things that we did, that kind of stuff. So, and our first card is a doozy. It's a biggie. It's the Liar. So in the major arcana, the Enchanted Forest, Forest of Enchantment, I should call it by the correct name, tarot, instead of the Devil, has the Liar. And I think this is a very good card to start with. Because we have to look at lying from two ways. And I felt this really strongly lately. We're looking at lying not from lying about stuff, lying to ourselves. So, if you are looking for a way to move forward, to grow, to do things better, to get better in spirituality or in mundane life or at work or whatever, relationships, although this is not feeling like a relationship read, at least not with people, it's with the earth. Stop lying to yourself and saying that you're doing something that you maybe could do better or aren't doing enough of. I'm not incredibly eco-friendly. I like to think I'm more than I am. We recently restarted our recycling, and we're going solar. So those are two things that I'm trying to do to better that process of taking responsibility for what we can do better within our means. Now, if you don't have the means to do something, then that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about being honest with yourself about where you are and what you can and can't do, and working through those things that you can or cannot do. So the Liar really is us talking about ourselves. From a major arcana perspective, this is, are we lying to ourselves about a relationship that we know we shouldn't be in? Are we lying to ourselves about what we can do to help others? Are we lying to ourselves saying, we're tired and we're hungry and all these things that we're really not, just because we have something to whine or complain about? I mean, I'm guilty of that. I get home from work sometimes like, I'm so tired, I hate work, and when I sit and think about it, I really don't. I like what I do. I really like what I do. I hate the traveling part, that's true. But don't lie to yourself, and don't get mad at yourself or think of this as such a negative thing, because take stock of where you are, and you got to know where you are in order to make sure that you're not even subconsciously lying to yourself, That's really important that you do that. So the next card we're going to pull is the Enchanter's Wheel. So this is much like Wheel of Fortune. So the Enchanter's Wheel is really talking about how sorry, I had to look down at my dog, she was chewing something. The Enchanter's Wheel is a lot of different things. It's like, it may be some good fortune, but a lot of times it's really like, it's not going to go for you, but it's not going to go against you. But it'll go better for you if you pay attention. The Enchanter's Wheel is laid out like the web of weird. So we're looking at what is the web of things, and how are we looking at things that are affecting others. So kind of like the butterfly effect, I guess you could say, but not really. I mean, everything that we do does have an effect on something else, whether you know it or not, whether you feel it or not, it's there. That effect is there. We are all connected. And the Enchanter's Wheel really talks about that connection. Do you recognize it? And if it's not there, should you make it stronger or should you build it? Whether you see it or not, it is there. So yes, you should be aware of it. The Enchanter's Wheel, as far as our ancestors being connected to that wheel also. The motion and the connection of the web that supports us all isn't just cause and effect. It's not just saying, because of X, then Y, and if, a butterfly flaps its wings in Japan, it can create a monsoon, in the Pacific. That's not what it's talking about. It's really talking about the whole way that we as a individual and a collective can make an impact. That's what it's really talking about. So when you're looking at over the next year, when we're talking the post-Samhain spread, right, we're talking about connection. We're talking about the liar, not lying to yourself, and the wheel, making sure that we are taking the wheel and that we are connecting and staying in connection with things that are around us. So a big focus for this next year, especially if you're somebody who's starting to come into your spirituality, then start building it. Get with people. Learn. Don't just take what somebody tells you or what you read as permanent. Take it as a guide, post, a lamp, a light to kind of hold up and see what you see, and then you go with that. And that is how you build your web and your connection. And that is how you build, prevent, I should say, your internal liar from telling you things are good when they aren't, and saying they're bad when they're actually good. Our third card today is the Weaver of Visions. And so the Weaver of Visions is, it's a very interesting card. And one of the things that I want to mention is, in this deck, you don't have like swords and pentacles and all that stuff. You have, a bunch of different ones. We'll get to them as we come through them, as we pull them. But the Visions is the water aspect of this particular deck, the Forest of Enchantment. And the water aspect, or the Weaver of Visions, is, I don't know if I said that right now, I'm thinking about it. It's the visions that is the water part. The Weaver is the individual that is on the court. So the person that weaves does what? Thing A, thing B. Use our person, our magic. We now have thing C. If that is a dumb example, I apologize, but you're weaving 2 or 3 or even more different things together. You're orchestrating the symphony together. The Weaver is like the queen in other tarot decks or in RWS or some of the other ones. But the key here is weaving of the visions of emotion, the whole aspect of the thing that you are trying to do needs to be woven together. So you may be feeling like things are kind of incomplete or things aren't actually clear for you. And that's because you have the things, I have the things, I should be good, I have them, the things are here, these are great things, they're beautiful things, I love these things. But they're just things, they're just thoughts, they're just pieces, they're just tools. We haven't used them with the energy of ourselves and our connections and our ancestors and our spirit, the spirit's out, nature, that we haven't used all of those things on the web that we just talked about, which, by the way, we're blocking because we're lying to ourselves sometimes that things aren't where they should be. But you feel like you should be okay because you have this stuff here, but you're not weaving it together. So in order for us to get to the next level as an individual and as a result, as a collective, we have to weave them together. So let's think about the emotions and things that we have. We feel things that are generally considered positive emotions: happiness, joy, fun. And then we have emotions that we think of as generally negative: fear, anger, resentment, just to name a few. All of those are important. You need them all. You can't block out one whole set of emotions that we call negative because you're not supposed to have them. You still have to have them. Don't lie to yourself. You have to have them. They're part of the human condition, but you can use them. If you fear something, learn about it to try to be less fearful. If you resent something, identify that you resent it and say, hey, this I think is resentment. Why? Why am I resenting that thing or that person or that piece? And that will help you weave the emotion, the cups, the vision of the Forest of Enchantment into what's going to help get us to the next level. So we're going to pull a couple of extra cards here. We're going to pull the oldest one. So, it's a really neat card. The oldest one is part of the Major Arcana. It's the 5th card in the Major Arcana. And we're kind of thinking a little bit along the lines of, I don't want to say the Hierophant, but similar to that, because you're looking at the wise one. Like, the older one isn't just somebody who's elderly or they don't think as fast, right? The older one is the redwood tree that's been there 2,000 years. It's the spirit of our ancestors that we never even knew that are still guiding us to do what we do, whether that's through our genetic code, which, by the way, is immortality. Whole nother subject we'll talk about sometime, promise. But the oldest one is the one that we look to gather and move that motion forward. So far, what we're asking with the oldest one is coming between the lyre and the enchanter's wheel. It is a very good idea for all of us, you who are listening, myself included, that we look to the older ones in our lives and don't discount their knowledge and abilities and their wiseness, wisdom, I guess I should say, right? I do know the English language. But reach out to those people. Find out what they know and what they have to share. Does it mean you have to say, oh, they said I have to do a double bath in bat's blood? No, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about, and we're not just talking about respecting your elders either. We're talking about having your mind open to hearing, listening, and assimilating and gathering the things that have come before us. It's not just a person. This is talking to the trees. This is listening to your ancestors when you're meditating. This is calling them into the corners and feeling their energy around. This is the elders of your group. This is the people who have been experiencing things for a long time. This is where you get that older one from. It is not just one thing or one person that is this thing. It is a part of the whole. We have an older one inside of us. That's our subconscious does have that older essence in it that keeps us safe and helps us think and process things very well. So highly, highly recommend that you listen to the older one. That means use your ancestors, invite them in, listen to them. Read the books, look at the old photo albums, read the old newspaper clippings, talk to your family, talk to your elders, talk to the people, even if you don't like what they have to say, even if you don't like them. Blood, they say, is thicker than water. I don't believe that. I think we pick our families. But the point is, reach out to those people, even if you don't like what they have to say or agree with them. You need to be able to hear them and assimilate and talk about what they're bringing in. So we're going to pull another card here. We just pulled the Seeker of Spells. So a seeker, obviously, is one that's going to go out and seek something. So let's talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about spells first. The spell suit in the Forest of Enchantment is the wand. So we're in the realm of fire. So think of Seeker of Spells as the person that is trying to learn more about fire. So interesting add to this particular read. This has been a very green read so far, and now we're throwing in a little bit of red, and that is telling us that along this pathway that we are taking to do better, we have to be balanced, but we have to be willing to step outside of our comfort zone, get a little dangerous, a little close to the fire, might burn yourself, but you're going to learn something new, you're going to create something new, you're going to become something new. So that Seeker of Spells is the one that is going out through the forest and saying, you know what, I don't normally do this, but it feels right, and I gotta get this new information. So stop, get out of the car, and side of the road, there's a flower you want to pick, do it, pick it. You're not used to, going out to the park. Go out to the park, sit on a bench, clear your mind, meditate, do something different. Seek out that change, and that fire will grow, and you'll be able to actually see this fire. And this is going to play in with the whole read. And then our last card, which is great, I think is a really good finish for this, is the Lovers. So we got a lot of major arcana here, which is expected in this type of a read. So we're back in our major arcana, the Lovers. Everybody thinks, oh, there's a relationship. Yeah, no, that's not what this is talking about. In this particular read from the Lovers, what I am hearing is that things will come together. That means we will be the ultimate love and the grand love. This is what we're talking about. This whole spread, remember, was about what can we do to elevate ourselves individually. Well, what if the other person in the Lover's card that the tarot is talking about right now is yourself? So in this particular instance, the Lover's card is really talking about both, love of ourselves and then love of the greater, once we get to figure out what that greater is. It's really important that, as we work to elevate, as again, this whole read was all about elevating ourselves and how do we get to the next level of who we are, wherever that is, so that we can also get to the next level with the collective spirituality and consciousness. So it really comes down to a read about finding yourself. And those of us that feel like we found ourselves know, and you'll know this if you've been doing this a while, you find and lose yourself a lot. The difference is each time you lose yourself, you don't get completely lost. The first time you're really trying to figure out who you are and what you're doing and what's going on in your life, and you just feel really lost, and then you find some things that make you happy and you work through them and you do them. And then you'll find along the way you stumble and you get little pockets of loss here and there, and things don't work out the way you want to. But each time there's always that little tether that's going to pull you back. And this is what we're talking about. You know, we're working towards elevating and becoming something better than we have been in the past. But the only person we can judge that against is our own self. So as we work harder and try to do better in what we're doing, our connections are closer. Each time we lose something of ourselves, we lose a little piece, or we try to do something a little bit better, you just keep working at it, and you eventually find it, or you move on to something else. It always finds its way back through the universe. So what we're going to look to do for the next, I would say the next year, our grand scheme of everything here is earth and water. So we have a heavy earth, we have a heavy water influence, and then a little bit of air and fire on the other ends of it. So we're letting go a little bit of our knowledge and our organization in lieu of gathering in this new feeling things through. So let's take a look back through the entire spread. We have the liar. Well, actually, before I even do that, let's go back one more step. So let's go back and remind ourselves a little bit of the original query. We're talking about, and we are asking how to better elevate ourselves and take our own selves to the next level, whether it's spirituality, whether it's work, whether it's mundane life or whatever, how to improve our condition so that we can better improve the condition of the human, just the entire spiritual group, right? And so our answers come in the form of a little piece of the puzzle each time. We're going to do a quick recap. The liar. Don't lie to yourself. Be honest. Ask yourself if that's what you really mean, and then commit to it. The enchanter's wheel. Recognize your connection to everything around you, not just people, but everything. We are all on the web. Recognize that connection, because your things that you do or think take energy, and that energy is expended in the web. The weaver of visions. Take that emotion and those things that you have and the things that are with you and weave them together. They are not independent silos of stuff. They need to be woven together. The emotions need to be accepted, both what we consider positive and what we as humans consider negative. We need to allow them, experience them, talk ourselves through them, let them play, but don't live in them, and then weave them together into the greater piece of ourselves. We need to seek out the oldest one, which means within ourselves, within our ancestors, and within our groups. We need to seek them out and spend time with them. It's not just people. This is seeking out the tree. This is seeking out and experiencing the grass outside barefoot. This is experiencing the river with your feet in the water. So experience that. The seeker further supports this and adds this fire element of we need to be seeking that higher level. We need to be finding that path. We need to be making that magic as we look through and seek for the things that are going to improve our lives. And lastly, we're going to look for the end result of love. Now, this might be an end result in a tarot reading, but this is actually a means of the bigger picture. And that lover is loving the internal self. It is loving every part of you. It is shadow working and loving that person too. All of the things that make you you, you have to love and accept and invite in wholly. And then you can take those things and add in love to the bigger connection and the greater connection. So that is the read for right now. I want to say for the week, but this isn't a weekly read. This is more of a post-Salann read. I would like to kind of dig into it a little bit deeper at some point and share some more information. But for now, this will be it. I really hope you got something out of that read, and I apologize for a lot of the background noise and a couple of the jump cuts. I am off work this week, and so my dogs are running around and enjoying themselves quite a bit, so it's nice. But anyway, I hope you had a great time listening to this read. If you have any questions, please always reach out to me. If you'd like a private reading, I don't charge for private readings. I do them. Generally, I do them via YouTube and send a video link. that's private to you. Unless you want it public, then I will post it publicly. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. But I'll give you that option first always. Again, this is the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. It is a beautiful, beautiful deck by Linnea Weatherstone and illustrated by Marela Allwood. So if you do tarot, pop in some comments below. If you want to know more about tarot or have any questions, pop those in the comments below. If you want to see more of this video, make sure you like it and subscribe if you would like to see more videos. Please check out the rest of the videos we have also, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week this week and a wonderful new witches year.